So I've moved inside here at the Apple Courthouse in Greendale. This is one of the original style furnished bedrooms with some maple furniture that's original period pieces like the globe and the vase, and the painting on the wall, which is a commissioned piece of art.
We didn't commission it. It was done by a lady that lives in the neighborhood, and she just donated it. The pieces that in the hallway, you can look at those later. That was done by an artist that actually got commissioned by the state to do our sesquicentennial poster, and she's done a lot of.
That's a big word.
Like that. Yeah, it is.
But to just back up a little bit with an introduction, this is Mary Mainella. She's been involved in the Greendale Historical Society for about 25 years in various capacities, and was very instrumental in the purchase and restoration of the Apple Courthouse. So she's going to speak a little bit about how they got the community involved, and then how they got the attention of the media, and how this now is, it's on Airbnb, and people come here from around the world to visit. So it was a labor of love that has paid off. I'm sure it didn't always seem that way. I'm sure at first it seemed hard, but I'll let her talk about that.
I never thought it would happen, actually, because when we purchased the home, I believe did you describe how we actually purchased it from the county, Milwaukee County?
Yeah, yes. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, what happened is that the two women that lived here were reclusive, and they were also in arrears, and finally the county, after several years of not paying their taxes and everything, came to them and said, listen, we can put you in some housing that would be appropriate for you, that would be safe and clean and new, and we have to take your home because you're not paying your taxes, and they do get resettled. And the home was, as you might imagine, in very, very, very bad shape, but it was original. That meant no one had torn down any walls, nobody had done anything major to change it from the way it was in 1938 when people first entered it. And this family had lived there a long time too. But it was great for us because that's just what we wanted. And at this time we had the support of our community and the government to purchase the home.
So in Greendale, the city government is really the village government.
It's called the village.
So
yes.
Whereas we have a city government for a city that's 28,000 people, and in Greendale, it's a little bit different because from the inception of Greendale, there was a village form of government, and that has persisted to today. So there's always been that cohesiveness, that feeling that we're all part of this historic resettlement.
I would say that there certainly is at this time. There was a period of time, when everybody wanted to forget the past and just, let this town just be, and the village officials were not very supportive, but it did change over time.
It turned around.
It turned around, and that was a good thing. And now, you have much greater support, and it's always dependent on, funding and that sort of thing. So when this home was foreclosed, the county thought maybe they would flip it, but they just saw how much work it would take, because there were a lot of issues. From the plumbing not working, and the sewage, and the wall falling down by the fireplace, and by the chimney. Anyway, this was all involved. So they said, I don't think we want it. I think we'll try to sell it. And then they contacted the village of Greendale saying, do you want to buy it, or do you know somebody who wants to buy it? And
fantastic.
Then they contacted us, and the village manager took us through the house. We saw what it was like, and agreed to get involved, and quite an involvement it was, as Jane mentioned.
But a labor of love, and a labor that leads to networking with so many people, and
absolutely.
getting to know so many, making contacts. It's almost like I think about in the original time period of the Great Depression. It was the same thing. We need to source our hardware. We need to source our crown molding. We need to source our flooring. And businesses, that were struggling through the Depression nationwide, suddenly we're networking with how they can get off their, get up and work again. And that was the beauty of what happened in the Depression. And in a way, it can be restore that spirit in restoring what I think it kind of is a circle. Because when you have something you care a lot about, it builds pride and excitement, and it may be hard work, but it's hard work that's worth it, right?
Yes, and truly, there was a need for some professional things, definitely, like plumbing and putting insulation in, different things, but almost every program that we contacted about doing something for the house, something that was necessary, they almost all to a business donated more than than we didn't pay them what it normally cost.
So if you have a local plumbing business, a construction business, but you donate to something historic, and there's people who just care about that, they're going to send their friends, their family to you, and it's all public relations at that point. So I love that idea. I love it.
Yeah, our bathroom, for example, that gentleman had a business and he had just recently retired, and we just asked him a few questions, and next thing I know, he's over here working away. Also, the gentleman that helped with the exterior, and these were people that really wanted to help out. And as Jane mentioned, during COVID, it was kind of great because we could go in as couples and do work and clean and paint and do all the different things that volunteers could do. But then there were also, as I mentioned, there were a lot of professionals involved. We even had to have asbestos abatement and flooring and so forth.
And even if you're not wealthy and you don't have a business, if you want to donate a tree and plant it in the yard, it will have a little plaque with your name, or some old furniture from grandma's house that just happens to be 1930s era, and you don't know what to do with it, but somebody wants it. So
exactly. There, and and it was hard to find. The 30s was a hard time to find things from because not a lot was being produced because of the Depression. The artists, fortunately, were often could get work through I think it was called the Federal Arts Project. I don't know if you have any evidence of that, but
we don't have evidence of that. I've seen it here. I've seen it on the, I believe it's a bill. It may have been the library that had some relief work, or
on their community building, right?
But as far as I know, nothing really in terms of art.
But we do have, local artists, just as yourself, and they've donated things for our home, and, I found places for them. There's an interesting story about the man's face downstairs, if you haven't heard it, and, different.
Oh, we certainly have that. We have artists painting in the neighborhood. The Alabama Plein Air artists have been two or three times and painted. And the Cahaba Art Association and various groups have painted these homes, and that artwork could be in your home. It could be in a future restoration. It could be make the home a special place, right?
Right. And if one of the things we did that was highly successful is that we had a shower for the home, as you might have a wedding shower or something. And I just registered actually through Target. You could use any place you wanted to, but registered for things we needed, like the linens, like the stuff for the kitchen, whatever it was that we needed to make this house viable. And that worked. Oh, gosh, that was a great success.
So local women's clubs or the Rotary or the Kiwanis or
Sure. We had support from all of
Chamber of
those.
Commerce of Trussville. So yeah, it's a great community project, and I think you should be very proud of what you've accomplished here. And I'm super impressed that I'll have more photos and video of the home to share. Photos and video of the neighborhood. I have just so much loved being here the last 4 days. I am an artist, so I walk around with my camera, and I just want to stay here and take photos forever.
Well, it is unique, as Trussville and your Cahaba project is unique, as you said.
Yes.
Nothing like it. It was developed to be a model suburb for the people that were working in our city, which was industrial, just as Birmingham, and it was a success.
It speaks to a time in history. It speaks
It
to
does.
Americana. I think about my grandparents or great grandparents and just that greatest generation and how it was a very strong sense of community.
Exactly.
And it should be honored. It should be respected. It should be celebrated. So
And saved.
Amen. So thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
really do appreciate the hospitality of everyone here in Greendale.